Actually, there was a mistake. I'm not a vice president. Our vice president is actually Cecil Quist, who comes from Radicale. And actually, she WhatsApped me and asked me to give her best regards to her party peers. So she says hi. I am actually the board member, one of the 4 board members of LIMEC, and I'm responsible for political campaigning. That being said, good evening. Dobry wieczór. I would like to begin first by thanking you on behalf of LIMEC to inviting us to participate in such a conference. We value such experience very highly, and we will hope to build on these experiences and cooperate more with you. When we talk about youth politics and liberal youth politics, and you think, well, what really is it about? First thing that comes to mind is non-formal education, because this is what we are the best at. We explain and promote liberal values, such as personal freedoms, market economy, human rights, rule of law, the basics. But not only that, we develop leadership skills. We also teach activism, political activism, and we offer a place for networking. And I think these are all very valuable things that we can offer to young people. But these are our goals, but these are not the only tasks that we as young liberals have. Because I think as liberal youth factions or organizations or parties, name it as you want, we have to be, a little bit more radical than our mother parties, a little bit more out there, a little bit more avant-garde, because, we are the youth. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a bit strong. And we have to serve as a system of check and balances to make sure that our mother party is still liberal, is still on top of the most important priorities. And we can do that but by being critical. But, of course, it's important not just to criticize, but be constructively critical of what our mother parties are doing. But, of course, if you just criticize something, you can't be taken seriously. You also have to offer something to build this trust between your mother party and yourself. I think it's very important to offer your what you think is very important for political agenda as for youth, and this is something what we as LIMEC are trying to do with our mother party ALDE by proposing resolutions, by pushing such topics that are important for us, such as vocational training, skills-based education, something that will tackle youth unemployment, and by simultaneously being critical, constructively critical, but also offering something in exchange, I think you can build a very valuable and trustworthy relationship between you and your mother party. Of course, unlike my colleagues here, I have a bit of a more difficult task because they represent their youth organization, their mother party, maybe in some way. I, on the other hand, represent LIMEC, who itself represents more than 30 different liberal youth organizations, ranging from social liberals to classical liberals to libertarians, coming from different states. So for some of them, situation is quite different than from your situation, and vice versa. So maybe something what I will be about to say will not be very topical for Russia because you have a very specific political situations, but I will still talk about some general things, and then maybe I will be best at answering your questions. So, as I said, it is important to be maybe a bit more radical as your mother party, to be critical, but also to offer something and to offer a political agenda, not only being, critical of your mother party. But that is one thing, and this is what you as a youth organization do. But then, of course, there comes a moment when you have to think of, okay, this is what we do, but how can we attract more people to do that? And of course, you can do that by various ways. I will give 3 maybe more successful examples from our member organizations. And when you talk about, of course, today we had a very amazing conference, very, very serious, given the topics and situation we were talking about. But, sometimes you have to remember that youth politics is about politics, but also is about youth. So sometimes you need to be a bit more fun, for attracting people. You need to make politics a bit sexy in a way, to attract more people. And if we look at our example of our colleagues from Ireland, Ógra Fianna Fáil is one of the most successful organizations in attracting new members, and what they did really, I think, is brilliant. They took their political program, their main political messages, and wrote them in two ways. One being serious, for people who are really interested into politics, for people who are nerdy, and then essentially restating the same ideas in a very fun, simple messages that are easy to understand for people who maybe are not so into these topics. And by having this serious and fun approach simultaneously, they actually attracted a huge amount of people. And of course, you want people to be really engaged, you want your members to be fully engaged in this political process, but sometimes you have to teach them, and you have to go in a process of political engagement and sort of raise them from this, people who are not very well aware about politics into very, very active political youngsters. And this is something to keep in mind. You can also attract more members by doing something very specific, like our friends from Estonia did. Estonian Reform Party youth campaigned for, I think, more than 5 years about lowering the age of when you can vote. And they finally pushed this proposal through their mother party. And since this year, in municipal elections, Estonians are allowed to vote starting from age of 16. So you can be very active in politics when you're 16, when you're 17, and of course, just by doing that, they already attracted many, many more members and many, many more people. And then, of course, like our friends in Austria, who are in a bit of a very, I would say now, privileged, lucky position because they have a newly created liberal party. They have a bit of a better chances into making into the lists of the mother party. But this is another way of giving initiatives to young people to join when you can run for a position, be that municipality elections, regional elections, state elections. We actually have a representative from a youth wing of UNIS being a parliament member in Austria. So, this is the best incentive you can possibly give. Of course, not all parties offer that. And if you think about how to reach that, then I would say I will go back to this point of being, you have to build trust with your mother party so they can entrust you with this position of being on the list. And you can do that by being very critical, but at the same time by offering a real political message of your own. And I know that we are talking about young politicians. But youth politics is not only about making young politicians or making new politicians. I think most importantly, we're building people. We're building liberals. Maybe they will not be your future politicians, but they will be a very actively engaged people in civil society. Maybe they will be a highly skilled professionals who will be critically minded, who will share liberal values, and who will help us to shape liberal societies in their own way. So that was my short, a bit of a general message. I would be glad to answer your questions. Thank you.